To create an internal parallel segment, first select the segment, then click the Create Parallel tool. Enter the distance to offset the internal, and the red X shows a preview of the position. A positive distance will create the internal inside the piece, and a negative distance will create the internal outside the piece. A distance on contour value will place the first point on the external contour, exactly that distance from the selected segment, then create the parallel line. Tick on Extend First or Last Point to extend the parallel contour until it touches the perimeter of the piece. If the segment is graded, tick on Grade New Segment to apply the same grade rules. Click OK to create the line, and click Yes to add point on snapped contour. If a parallel contour is created outside the piece, it is still considered an internal contour for the piece. Use the Extend Parallel tool to grow or shrink a piece around the entire perimeter, or along a selected segment. Select the piece, then click the Extend Parallel tool. Enter a positive value to grow the piece, or a negative value to shrink the piece, and click OK. Similarly, select a segment to extend, then click the Extend Parallel tool. Enter the extension amount, and click OK. The segment is extended following the angle of the first and last point. To extend an internal contour, first select the contour, then click the Extend Contour button. Enter the amount to extend, and the red X shows where the new endpoint will be. Change the direction to extend, and the red X moves to the start point of the segment. Click OK. Other options are to create a new contour for the extended segment, or to create a new contour for the extension only. Crooked Contour Smooth, select the Smooth tool, then select the segment. The red X's show which points will be included in the new contour. By default, the system shapes the contour using any grade points as anchor points. Use the red line to preview the shape. Click to add or delete points from the contour. Right-click to finish smoothing the contour. To swap an internal contour with an external contour, click the Swap Segment tool. Select the first and last points of the external contour, then the first and last points of the internal contour. In the dialog, decide how to swap the segments. The Substitute option connects the nearest point on the external contour to the new start or end point. The Extrapolation option extends the original contour shapes until they intersect. Use the red preview lines to decide which method to use for the first and last point swap, then click OK. After the segments are swapped, delete the internal contours. While the Swap Segment dialog is open, click Choose Segments to change the start and end points of either segment. The red X's show the start and end points for each contour. In the dialog, select which point to change, the external contour segment, first point, or last point, or the internal segment to swap, first point, or last point. Then use the shift point arrows to move the red X to the previous or next point. Click OK to apply, and the red preview line is updated.